Tonight, a wildfire rages near Newfoundland's largest city, forcing parts of St. John's under evacuation alert.
We are in the process of expanding the regional state of emergency.
The province facing a fast-moving and unprecedented situation.
They say Western Bay is like a war zone.
Help is on the way, and it's desperately needed. The situation on the ground right now. Uncertainty for Air Canada travelers as a potential work stoppage draws closer.
It brings anxiety, stress, it ruins plans.
Where the two sides stand. A blind BC man regains his sight through a procedure involving his tooth.
I feel fantastic. It's a whole new world.
The surgery that's changing lives in Canada.
From CBC News, this is The National with Christine Barak.
Thanks for joining us. Adrian is away. This is a tense and anxious night for many in Atlantic Canada as new wildfires spark and old ones grow, threatening more homes and more communities. Newfoundland is facing an unprecedented crisis, according to the Premier. A new evacuation order has been issued near St. John's, with thousands more residents now on alert. Officials are racing to bring in more firefighting resources. Several wildfires are causing concern in Newfoundland. One is growing dangerously close to St. John's. To the west, the Kingston fire has already destroyed some buildings. And now a new fire has just started near Spaniards Bay. Fire crews are battling intense heat and dry conditions, making it even harder to stop the flames from spreading. Heather Gillis lays out the situation tonight.
The wildfire crisis in eastern Newfoundland is deepening as fires threatening several communities continue to grow, including the Paddy's Pond fire near St. John's. There, new evacuation orders forced a scramble to get out Tuesday evening amid roadblocks. Evacuation alerts now cover nearly 20,000 people in and around the capital.
We are also in the process of expanding the regional state of emergency to parts of St. John's, parts of Paradise, and parts of CBS.
The Paddy's Pond fire is 200 to 300 hectares, but officials say it's too smoky to know for sure. Parts of the Trans-Canada Highway are closed. The situation is causing chaos at the Canada Games, which is postponing some events, relocating others.
We put out a call last night to each provincial territorial chef team and said, can you come help us get the equipment out of Paradise? And they were all there within 20 minutes.
This is just one of several fires burning in the province. To the northwest on the Bay de Verde Peninsula, the Kingston fire, the province's largest, is now 6,300 hectares. Even from across the bay, its intensity is clear. 3,000 people have fled. Many homes have burned.
And we anticipate, based on what we can see at this moment, that there is significant loss.
The Kingston and Paddy's Pond fires are about 100 kilometers apart as the crow flies. Water bombers are flying back and forth, drenching both. A precious resource being shared, and that has some concerned.
I'm afraid that most people in Conception Bay North, on the Bay de Verde Peninsula, will not have homes to go back to.
The Premier says the province is trying to maximize resources, not prioritizing one area over the other. He adds more help is coming.
4 high-capacity helicopters are on the way, so are 2 Black Hawk choppers from Utah that will have night water bombing capabilities. Help desperately needed outside evacuation zones like this one, especially because there's a new fire next to the Kingston fire, and a regional highway in central Newfoundland, west of here, has had to close due to the Martin Lake fire.
Heather, what else is the province asking for?
Money, disaster relief funds, because even though it's too early to say how many homes have burned near Kingston, it will likely be significant. But in true Newfoundland fashion, people here are pulling together.
Heather Gillis in Paradise, Newfoundland and Labrador. In Halifax, a wildfire burning on the outskirts of the city has residents on edge tonight. The flames sent massive plumes of smoke into the sky. Let's go to Nicolas Seguin in Halifax now. Nicolas, take us through what we know so far.
Well, Christine, the fire sparked this afternoon just 10 kilometers from downtown Halifax. It started in the woods near Bears Lake, which is a popular shopping area. It sent plumes of smoke into the air that could be seen throughout Halifax, and it led to air quality warnings in the city and the county. Officials this evening are still calling it out of control. Earlier this afternoon, they evacuated multiple businesses in the area and an outpatient medical center. This is just bringing back fear and anxiety, thinking back to the 2023 Upper Tantallon wildfires that forced thousands from their homes and destroyed 151 homes nearby. People are thinking of that. They're worried. Officials are asking them to stay out of the area and have closed some roads. The estimated size of the fire now is 25 to 30 hectares, which is relatively small, less than 1 square kilometer. Halifax Fire is saying no homes are at risk right now, but they are asking people to keep drones out of the sky and let firefighters do their work. Christine?
Thanks, Nicolas. Nicolas Seguin in Halifax. On the other end of the country, a similar fight is underway as crews attack a new and growing wildfire burning on Vancouver Island. This is the Mount Underwood wildfire just south of Port Alberni. It's knocked out power to hundreds of people and pushed others from their homes. Since being spotted Monday, it's exploded in size. So far this year, Canadian wildfires have collectively burned an area about the size of New Brunswick. It's not just Canada battling wildfires. Wide parts of Europe are burning too. A heat wave is fueling flames that are driving thousands from their homes. Chris Brown shows us what crews are up against.
The heat in Europe is historic, with sustained temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius, fanning fires from one side of the continent to the other. Spain may have it the worst, with fire crews overwhelmed and residents terrified. We're helpless and feel completely abandoned. Someone do something for us, pleaded Evangelina Paral. Enormous fires burned less than 30 kilometers from the capital, Madrid, in the municipality of Tres Cantos, where a man was killed. And in the far south, more than 2,000 people in the beach town of Tarifa were evacuated as the helicopters scooping and dumping seawater couldn't keep up with the fire's spread. Many complained of road chaos as they tried to flee. To the east, the Balkans also burned as people in Montenegro returned to incinerated homes. Dragana Vukovic said money can help replace the things she lost, but memories and keepsakes that burned can never be replaced. Fires raged in nearby Albania too, one of many countries where tourists found their holiday plans upended.
We came here for vacation, just a holiday, and I was really shocked to see the fire.
A warming climate is, of course, a major factor for such extreme conditions and destruction, but not the only one.
The area of flammable vegetation, that is forest, that is shrubland, is increasing, especially in the Mediterranean area. And this is largely to do with the rural depopulation.
But resort towns, including in Turkey, have also found themselves in the line of fire, prompting evacuations by sea. Worryingly, the heat and winds may be sustained for days to come. Chris Brown, CBC News, London.
Breaking tonight, both Air Canada and the union representing most of its flight attendants can now issue 72-hour lockout or strike notices, with the two sides so far failing to reach a deal. Anis Haydari is tracking this story. Anis, there have been several developments tonight.
Yeah, Canada's largest airline has said things are at an impasse with CUPE, which represents more than 10,000 flight attendants at both Air Canada and its budget carrier, Air Canada Rouge. And now work stoppages can be announced by both sides. This all comes after 4 demonstrations at major airports earlier this week. Around the same time, the company asked the union to go to what's called binding interest arbitration. That would mean no strike or lockout. The union said no. that it wants to keep negotiating. And the sticking points aren't just wages. Flight attendants are usually not paid for boarding and safety checks.
And we are off to acknowledge that there's a huge gap still between the union's request and what we can offer. We've offered an increase of more than 38% on global compensation, and that's been turned down by the union. So time is running short.
CUPE uses a lower number to describe this offer, and they say it doesn't keep up with inflation. And while Air Canada is offering some pay for some pre-flight work, it hasn't met the bar for union members.
Air Canada's proposal is for safety-related duties that we're required to do before flight. They said that they will look at a system that will pay 50% for that. So paying 50% for safety-related duties doesn't quite cut it.
Anise, take us through how a work stoppage could go down.
The union or the company has to give 72 hours notice before a strike or a lockout. And if they choose, either side can now give that 3-day warning, meaning almost all flights would start getting canceled. Now, so far, neither side says they want to do that, but Air Canada is already promising if you are booked to travel this weekend, you can postpone your flight until mid-September for free.
Anise Hadari in Calgary. Canola farmers are bracing for yet another tariff hit. China says it's slapping steep anti-dumping duties on Canadian canola seed. Alexander Silberman has more.
On Leroy Newman's family farm, the stress of another new tariff hangs over this year's harvest.
The good old farmers, we just have to take one for the team every time, and it's tiresome.
Newman's canola crops are already seeing a steep drop in value now that China has hit Canadian seed imports with a duty of over 75%. It's due to kick in on Thursday.
It could be easily $60,000, $70,000 hit in one day for just our small farm.
The move is a new escalation in a year-long trade dispute. First, Canada placed duties on Chinese electric vehicles, aluminum, and steel. In response, China imposed 100% tariffs on Canadian canola oil and meal. Now, all canola exports are being hit.
There's going to be some economic hardship here.
China is the second biggest export market for Canadian canola after the United States, and it's the largest buyer of seeds, valued at nearly $4 billion annually.
Basically shuts Canada out of the Chinese market.
The new tariff, many argue, is largely a tactic. Canada and China have been in trade talks in recent months.
Our Canadian government needs to get in touch with and start negotiating with China to get this all resolved. This is a geopolitical issue. It's not an anti-dumping issue.
It's a sort of a bullying tactic. If necessary, some compensation will have to be forthcoming.
The federal government is pledging to respond.
We'll stand up and protect workers in the canola sector.
Canola prices are already reacting. Seed grown for China can easily be sold to other buyers. And with harvest just weeks away, producers say Canada will have to act fast. Alexander Silberman, CBC News, Regina.
The streets of Washington, D.C. tonight are being patrolled by the National Guard, part of a controversial plan by the U.S. president, which he says is intended to crack down on crime. But as Ashley Burke explains, it's not just criminals he's after.
A show of force at the Washington Monument after the U.S. president seized control of local police, a first in the Capitol's history.
We need more law and order in a city that has been ravaged by violence, crime, murders, property theft.
Donald Trump has declared a crime emergency in Washington, activated the National Guard, and called in the FBI too.
It's time for dramatic action.
The White House says on night one, 850 officers and FBI agents made almost 24 arrests and seized 6 handguns. Washington's mayor shifting her tone after originally calling Trump's actions unsettling.
How we got here or what we think about the circumstances right now, we have more police and we want to make sure we're using them.
Trump's move has some support.
I love it. I think this is long overdue.
But it's not just crime he's cracking down on. Trump wants to move homeless people right out of the city and is dismantling encampments this week.
And if they refuse, they will be susceptible to fines or to jail time.
Fledget Rippey says her house burnt down. Local shelters are full, so she's sleeping on a park bench.
Give us a home. How about that? How about just giving people that need a home inside? Then we'd be inside. You just want to just throw us to the rats.
Trump's also put other cities run by Democrats on notice they could be next, like Chicago.
He is one of the biggest threats to humanity that we've seen in an entire generation.
That move would not be unprecedented. Trump deployed the National Guard in Los Angeles in June against the mayor's wishes.
And it was unnecessary, and to me it just all boiled down to being a stunt. And I just don't think you should use our troops for political stunts.
A federal judge heard arguments in California Tuesday to determine if the Trump administration violated the law in that case. The trial could set a precedent for how Trump could deploy these troops in the future.
Ashley, what do we know about how long this could go on in Washington?
Christine, Trump used something in Washington called the Home Rule Act, which gives him 30 days. The White House says when the clock runs out, it will reevaluate. Trump once again testing the boundaries of his presidential powers to militarize a major U.S. city.
Ashley Burke tonight in Washington. New housing data suggests despite efforts to get more homes built, there are actually fewer projects on the horizon. The federal government campaigned in part on easing the housing crisis. Kate McKenna now on where those promises stand.
A key priority for Mark Carney during the election, building more homes.
There simply aren't enough homes, so housing is just too expensive. Now, it doesn't have to be this way.
But new data shows the federal government has a long way to go. In May and June, residential construction intentions dropped 15%.
Most of the decline is in lower mainland BC and the GTA. And what's happened in those two environments is that home prices and rents have fallen.
Experts say it all comes down to math.
We've reached a point at which the costs are so high relative to prices, it's just no longer economically viable to build most forms of housing.
These figures come after Ontario reported it is not on track to meet its housing target of 1.5 million homes built by 2031. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says they want to get more built, but municipalities play a big role.
If you want to build, you will build. And then there's some, I won't name names, they're NIMBYs. And they're the first to get out there and say, we need more homes. Oh, by the way, you aren't building in our backyard, you aren't building in our neighborhood.
The federal housing minister wasn't available for an interview, but Prime Minister Mark Carney has committed to build nearly 500,000 homes annually and slash development fees.
We need to see some response here to get the developers off the sideline and the shovels in the ground.
The Conservatives say Ottawa's previous efforts to move the needle, including giving money to cities to fast-track development, didn't work.
That program was an abject failure. I mean, they gave millions of dollars to cities that then turned around and increased their costs for building.
This week, Ottawa announced consultations on its plan to create a new housing crown corporation. But with targets slipping and costs climbing, the federal government is under mounting pressure to make good on its commitments. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
A BC man has his eyesight back after losing it more than 2 decades ago.
I feel fantastic. Vision comes back. It's a whole new world.
The life-changing procedure performed in Canada for the first time using a tooth. Plus, the world's biggest pop star is dropping a new album.
She's very, very skilled and intuitive.
The fan frenzy over Taylor Swift's marketing tease. And later, one big wedding for some virtual pets.
My heart was so full watching this room full of predominantly adults, giddy and giggling and celebrating.
The Tamagotchis who tied the knot in the quest for a new world record. We're back in 2. A terrifying moment captured on police Dashcam along a South Carolina highway Monday. Lightning striking a utility pole, setting off 2 large explosions as vehicles pass by. The incident led to traffic delays and power outages, but no injuries were reported. A BC man who went blind 2 decades ago has regained his sight after undergoing a first-in-Canada surgery. As Yasmin Renea shows us, the procedure required one of his teeth.
Yes, seeing the skyline.
After going blind nearly 21 years ago, this is the moment Brent Chapman discovered he could see again, through his tooth.
Looks really healthy, looks great.
Chapman is one of 3 people who underwent tooth and eye surgery, performed by Dr. Greg Maloney and his team in Vancouver for the first time in Canada.
I feel fantastic. Vision comes back. It's a whole new world.
All 3 patients can now see to different degrees.
To watch them come back into the world it's an incredibly rewarding feeling.
The 2-part surgery, developed in the 1960s, is a last resort for people with severe corneal blindness. It involves removing a patient's tooth, inserting a plastic lens into it, and then stitching the whole thing into the patient's eye socket. Why a tooth? Because they consist of the hardest substances humans produce, making them the ideal casing to bridge the lens, and using part of a patient's own body ensures it won't be rejected. Chapman went blind when he was 13. He's had about 50 procedures done to try and get his vision back.
And we always said to Brent that we would go anywhere, do anything to keep his vision. And here we are.
Chapman says he's now appreciating the little things.
When Dr. Maloney and I made eye contact, we both just burst into tears, and yeah, I hadn't really made eye contact in 20 years.
He's looking forward to spending time with family, traveling and working, not taking anything for granted. Yasmin Renea, CBC News, Vancouver.
It's the big announcement Swifties around the world have been waiting for.
This is my brand new album, The Life of a Showgirl.
The marketing machine already swirling ahead of Taylor Swift's latest release. Plus, Donald Trump is getting ready to meet Vladimir Putin in Alaska, but will it lead to a lasting peace in Ukraine?
It's unimaginable to me to think of Russia giving up what it considers to be its constitutional territory.
What Russia really wants. And a new super potent opioid flowing into Canada.
This is illegal in Canada, right? You know that.
Yeah, I know.
The CBC News investigation on the trail of a deadly drug. The National breaks down the stories shaping our world next. Taylor Swift announcing a new album is on the way is sending fans into a frenzy, searching for clues on the new music. Ali Chiasson shows us the hype and the marketing machine behind it.
Are you ready for it? News of Taylor Swift's 12th album trickled out. First, savvy Swifties noticed a thumbnail on boyfriend Travis Kelce's podcast announcing a special guest. Then, a teaser clip confirming it.
We're about to do a podcast.
It's Taylor Swift. Like, is she really gonna go on her boyfriend's sports podcast and give us like TS12?
Sure enough.
This is my brand new album, The Life of a Showgirl.
I was buzzing.
Her Eras tour grossed a record-breaking $2 billion in ticket sales, and clearly, Swifties are ready to spend more. The website to pre-order the album crashed soon after it went live.
What is this?
As this TikToker points out, there isn't even a release date.
Like, just don't release anything if it's not ready.
She's very, very skilled and intuitive about knowing what that community is going to want and how to give it to them.
Variety magazine's music editor says it's the art of business.
If you hate the game, don't play it.
What is it about Taylor Swift?
She really just has that songwriting ability.
Professor Stephanie Burt teaches a whole course about it at Harvard.
She has been able to stay both aspirational and relatable.
After spending the money to see the Eras Tour in Toronto, Detroit, and Paris last year, Holly Mount Stephen is holding off on pre-ordering the album, opting instead to get a head start on some T-Swift friendship bracelets.
Ooh, I think this sparkly orange, that is kind of speaking to what maybe this album's gonna look like, the vibes.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world. A new and ultra-potent opioid, nitazenes, is being smuggled into Canada.
I'm seeing people coughing up blood. I'm seeing people dying.
We'll trace the origins and rapid rise of a drug killing hundreds here and across the globe. But first,
Russia doesn't want peace.
After several failed talks to end the war in Ukraine, Putin and Trump prepare for an Alaska face-to-face. Beyond territorial gains, what does Moscow really want before agreeing to a ceasefire? Earlier in the summer, Terence McKenna explored that question as Russia hurried to seize more land and Kyiv rebuffed Washington's land swap proposal.
Every time peace talks begin about Ukraine's future, non-negotiable issues are sure to appear, making peace seem far away. Meanwhile, the vastly superior Russian forces are pounding Ukraine with missiles and drones every night. Last month, Vladimir Putin tried to claim that Russia is hitting only military targets.
Удар был не по жилым кварталам, а по объектам оборонно-промышленного комплекса, по заводам, которые производят военную технику.
That statement is demonstrably false. Video clearly shows Russian drones hitting civilian targets. Kira Rudik is a Ukrainian member of parliament.
They have attacked a multi-story building right near where I live, and I have witnessed it. I can assure you that there is nothing military nowhere around where I live.
What will it take to overcome obstacles and kickstart the process? There have been several sessions of peace negotiations, mostly at the insistence of Donald Trump. Some face-to-face, some through American mediators. The U.S. has been seen to put heavy pressure to compromise on the Ukrainian side, with less pressure on the Russian side. In 2014, Russia seized the Crimean Peninsula, and then in 2022, most but not all of Ukraine's 4 easternmost provinces, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. Russian President Vladimir Putin has made a great show of claiming those territories as part of Russia, including them in a revised constitution, and has demanded that the world should recognize his new borders.
Да здравствует Россия!
To get a Russian perspective on the negotiations, we contacted Dmitry Trenin, a member of Russia's Foreign and Defense Policy Council, who spoke to us from Moscow.
Territory is part of the resolution from the Russian perspective, and as we know, not only Crimea and Sevastopol, the chief naval base on the peninsula, but 4 other regions of Ukraine, southeastern Ukraine, are now constitutionally part of Russia. So it's unimaginable to me to think of Russia giving up what it considers to be its constitutional territory.
They have made this completely illegal move in adding our territories that didn't belong to them into their constitution. They are acting as an empire, and then they are trying to make it everybody else's problem.
American Ian Bremmer of the Eurasia Group thinks Ukraine will not legally recognize the Russian-held territory, but will accept the reality on the ground.
The Ukrainians, with NATO support, do not have the military capacity in the foreseeable future to retake that territory. And so I think there is a recognition that a ceasefire is going to have to accept some freezing in reality of the present front lines of territory.
One contentious point in the negotiations is the military status of Ukraine in the event of a ceasefire. The Russians seem to want Ukraine largely disarmed for the constant supply of Western weapons to stop. They want a written pledge that Ukraine will never be allowed to join NATO. Meanwhile, the Europeans, especially France and the UK, have said that they are planning to deploy peacekeepers to Ukraine to help defend the country after a ceasefire.
The UK is ready to put boots on the ground and planes in the air to support a deal.
In his February Oval Office meeting with Emmanuel Macron, Trump claimed that Putin would accept European peacekeepers.
Yeah, he will accept that. I've asked him that question.
But Russia immediately denied Trump's claim.
The Russians want it to be largely demilitarized. The West finds that completely unacceptable because they believe that Ukraine needs to be able to defend itself, or else nothing would prevent the Russians from taking that territory.
Are there terms under which Russia will accept peacekeepers?
No, certainly not European peacekeepers. Russia sees European countries as, today, I would say, as the near enemies. Russia is almost virtually at war with European nations. So Europe is a worse enemy today than the United States. And no, there's absolutely no tolerance in Russia for any Western forces in Ukraine as part of the deal, as part of the peace settlement.
Russia is living in the reality when one country, for some reason, again, can dictate to another country what it can do and cannot do. Again, I'm sorry, we are living in the 21st century when Russia has no say about its neighbors.
So with the Ukraine-Russia peace negotiations at a very difficult stage, what could a peace deal look like if a ceasefire could be reached?
Well, from the Russian standpoint, it would have to accept the realities on the ground, as the Russian leadership has been saying. It would have to have a neutral Ukraine, neutral in all respects.
If there's a peace deal, what would it look like in your view?
Interestingly, I don't think the territory is the biggest sticking point. I think the reality is that Ukraine won't accept that the occupied territory is Russian, but they recognize the reality that they can't do anything about it. So that can be fudged, that can be kicked down the road. But what is necessary is for Ukraine to have sovereignty and the ability to secure their own territorial integrity going forward.
While dragging out the peace negotiations, Russia is amassing troops on the northeast border of Ukraine, preparing a summer offensive towards the Ukrainian city of Sumy. President Putin has said his troops are ready to crush Ukraine.
Do you see a peace deal as something that's likely?
I don't see it as likely this year. I think that the outcome of the war will be decided by what happens on the battlefield through the end of this year and maybe next year. But I do not see it coming in the next many months.
I agree with that. The Russians want to see if Trump is going to blink, if he's going to lose interest, if he's going to turn away from Ukraine in the next year, or if he's going to continue providing intelligence and allowing arms sales to the Ukrainians.
We do not see any time frame because Ukraine was never saying that the peace agreement is possible. This illusion that you can talk to Russia or that Putin respects Trump came from the new administration. If you ask us, we would tell you Russia doesn't want peace. If they wanted peace, they would stop attacking us.
In late June, President Putin decided to weigh in on the peace negotiations at the St. Petersburg Economic Forum. His comments were even more strident than previously.
Вы сказали по поводу областей на Украине, которые мы считаем своими. Да, я уже много раз говорил, что считаю русский и украинский народ одним народом на самом деле. В этом смысле вся Украина наша.
This week, the United States stopped providing Patriot missile interceptors to Ukraine, and future U.S. weapons deliveries are in doubt because President Trump continues to make positive comments about Vladimir Putin.
Putin speaks to me. He doesn't speak to anybody else. He doesn't want to talk because he was very insulted when he got thrown out of the GA. As I would be, as you would be, as anybody would be. He was very insulted, and I agree with him.
The international support is changing, where the United States cannot continue to be our main ally and the leader of the democratic world. So we have to rely on our European allies and on Canada more in getting the support. Inside the country, people are exhausted. This is true. However, we are in a much better situation than we were in 2022. We did not capitulate then, and we do not intend to capitulate right now.
Reports suggest Russian forces are gaining ground in Ukraine's Donetsk region after a surprise offensive in recent days. This advance will likely put more pressure on Kyiv ahead of Friday's talks in Alaska. A deadly drug more than 40 times stronger than fentanyl, hitting Canadian streets with devastating impact.
He took just one, and it was poison.
A CBC News investigation breaks down how it's being smuggled into Canada. A look inside, labs making a potent new drug causing chaos and death. CBC's Visual Investigations Unit finds out how nitazene is getting from overseas labs into Canadian homes.
Usually, it can either be caffeine, detergent. Sometimes we can go with spices.
In June, Eric Cito traced the routes and the methods used by smugglers to get the deadly opioid across the Canadian border.
These are videos inside overseas drug labs, sent to us from people claiming to produce a synthetic opioid more than 40 times stronger than fentanyl.
Check it out.
Ready to be smuggled into Canada. And the thing is, all we had to do was respond to ads and posts on social media. And within minutes, we're on the phone with criminals. This is illegal in Canada, right? You know that.
Yeah, I know.
The drug, nitazenes, a deadly opioid that's popping up all over the world.
Nitazene.
Nitazene.
They're called nitazenes.
I'm seeing people coughing up blood. I'm seeing people dying.
And we're gonna take you inside this emerging crisis. It can kill people, right? I just want you to make sure you know that.
That is a game.
Nitazenes are so powerful, it can be hard to wrap your head around. So to give you an idea, let's start with morphine. Heroin is roughly 2 times more potent than morphine. Fentanyl is up to 40 times stronger than heroin. And nitazenes, they're up to 43 times stronger than fentanyl. And they're killing people around the world.
He took just one, and it was poison.
He was unresponsive on the bed, and he was turning blue. He'd already gone.
So how many people have died in Canada? Well, we ask every corner across the country. And since 2021, there have been over 300 deaths caused or suspected to be caused by nitazenes. The drugs are flowing into Canada. In recent years, police have seized nitazenes in busts across the country. 2 busts in Quebec alone last year accounted for over 1 million fake pharmaceutical pills laced with nitazenes. Why would criminals want to use nitazenes when fentanyl is right there?
I'm obviously not a fan of organized crime groups, but they're going to look for more efficiencies, right? And if you have a more potent drug that can be cut and achieve the same effect with lower volumes, then that's appealing.
Where are these nitazenes coming from?
75% of them are coming from China.
Here's a mugshot of Ontario man Matthew Fan. CBSA intercepted shipments of nitazenes from China, allegedly for him, hidden in pet food. So where are people finding nitazens? Online ads are how this market functions right now. There's going to be websites that might advertise it. They're going to shift. Each time a website gets taken down, it's back up the next day. If you close down a business entity overseas, they're going to recreate a commercial enterprise the next day under a different business name. Our investigation, supported by open source investigators at Bellingcat, found hundreds of nitazene ads and posts all over the internet. Images of powders, chemical names for various nitazenes, and contact info on platforms like X, Reddit, LinkedIn, Google, and Behance, which is owned by Adobe. We also find them on e-commerce websites in India. So we respond to dozens of these ads, and within minutes, we're on the phone with criminals. 14 different sellers who are all part of a global network based in India, China, the UK, and the US. We find this seller on Exporters India. Umesh Enterprises says they're an Indian pharma trading company that's been in business for over a decade.
Is it coming from India or China?
It's coming from India because recently, due to the issues going on between the US and China with the tariffs, there's been a lot of blockage from China. So
It's because it's illegal in Canada, right?
Yeah, I understand.
It's dangerous as well. If it's the wrong supply, it can kill someone.
Yeah, that's right. It's a controlled substance. Yeah.
They reveal how they smuggle it into Canada.
What do you label it as?
Yeah, usually it can either be caffeine, detergent. Sometimes we can go with spices.
This seller, who says he's from the UK, has another way he hides drugs.
We can send you 5 basketballs, maybe you put 100 grams in each basketball and then we send to you.
Others show us how they conceal nitazenes in Chinese herbal products and teapots. And they can be delivered the same day.
The route that we use most often is, from Michigan, Detroit to, Windsor. So we use the tunnel, and that's easy movement.
How long would it take?
Maximum should be about 10 hours.
We get so many images from sellers, barrels of chemicals and pill presses. We start to notice similarities. These sellers claim to be different, but they use the same scales and the same Bitcoin address. We ask all the sellers to show us proof they've sent drugs to Canada before. One, who calls himself Jerry, shares images and videos of their lab in China.
Hello, this is a video for Eric on May 22, 2025.
And records of past shipments to Quebec, labeled as pearlescent pigments. And this one to Ontario, which has a clue, a tracking number. We put it into the FedEx tracking system. It leaves Beijing and arrives in the US in Anchorage, Alaska, then Memphis, before being delivered in Waterloo.
We're worried that this will continue to rise as an ongoing threat. Crime groups are not dealing in product, they're dealing in death.
Since Eric started investigating this, some companies have taken action. LinkedIn, Adobe, and Reddit removed posts flagged by CBC News, and exporters in India banned keywords related to the drug. Google says it complies with all valid legal removal requests, while X did not respond to our request for comment. Next, a wedding ceremony dedicated to a childhood toy phenomenon.
We had around 200 people show up. Over 100 Tamagotchis were confirmed to have gotten married that day.
Their love at first device in our moment.
Take a voyage with me to the vast, remote, most extreme place on Earth.
For many, this will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
CBC in Antarctica. Watch free on CBC Gem.
What do we know? I think we can explain.
About that with Andrew Chang.
A crowd of over 250 people gathered in Toronto over the weekend for what they call the world's largest Tamagotchi wedding, a throwback to the old children's toy. It attracted people from different parts of the world, and tonight their nostalgic nuptial makes our moment.
We held a world record attempt for the world's largest Tamagotchi wedding. The specific record was most Tamagotchis married in 1 hour. So Tamagotchis are a keychain-sized virtual pet that rose to popularity in the 90s. The idea was that it's a 24-hour game, just like a real pet. You might need to feed it, you might need to answer its call at any time. Then they can actually marry and procreate and raise their babies. My heart was so full watching this room full of predominantly adults giddy and giggling and celebrating. We had around 200 people show up. Over 100 Tamagotchis were confirmed who have gotten married that day. We definitely are the land of misfit toys, lovable group of freaks and weirdos who have all found each other through this game. And I think it's so special that we can connect in real life over something as simple as playing together.
Now, just to be clear, there was no record on the books for this, but it's certainly an attempt to set the bar high. Once all the pairings are confirmed, the club plans to send the results to Guinness for certification to make it official, of course. From all of us here at The National, thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to The National's YouTube channel. I'm Christine Birak. Take care.